Hey everybody. I hope you enjoyed Feels Good Man. I want to thank all of the great, amazing independent regional cinemas, people tuning in from all over the country. I also want to thank all the comic book shops and the bookstores for getting the word out about this screening. I want to thank everyone who bought a copy of Mind Viscosity, Matt Furie's new book on Fantagraphics. Nice to see him smile. Hello. So that's Matt Furie. This is Chris Sullivan. We want to thank our friends at FilmBot who put together Feels Good Man Watch. We want to thank Max and Michelle and Jessica behind the scenes. They've been like a joy to work with. And then I also want to thank Skinner for being here. Before Feels Good Man did a block of Skinner shorts. You saw Skinner in the movie.
Thank you.
And then I want to introduce Giorgio Angelini, who was my partner in making Feels Good Man. He also, hot off the hard drive, Giorgio! the song that ends the film, Giorgio just completed. He co-wrote it with Sharon Van Etten and his friend Mike Semple. So that's a new addition to the film that we're excited to unveil here. And Giorgio's gonna, I guess, be the master of ceremonies, right?
I wish that I would have been there when that dude was asking Matt all those questions, because I would have just started fucking roasting that motherfucker. Like
the ADL.
I feel like Matt was too nice. He's like, yeah, that's Mayor McCheese or whatever. Like,
I would have been the lawyer.
I'd have been like, man, fuck you, motherfucker. What are you talking about? Like, come on, man. Like, I feel like Matt was like trying to be all nice. Matt, come on, bud. It's time to get a little psycho on these fools. You need to give them a little their own little Alex Jones energy.
my biggest downfall is that I love everyone, man.
God, dude.
Listen. The lawyer was just an Essence slime ball, and I can appreciate an Essence slime ball.
First question's for Matt. It's what was the hardest part about having Pepe taken from you, and how have you found your way past that?
Watch the movies? Well, I mean, that's kind of a broad question, but yeah, like, I don't know. It's just weird having like just a whole, we all breathe the same air. We're all connected, you know, man. And it's like everyone just feels like they have ownership over Pepe, and that's up to them. I don't know, like he's just a frog dude. I don't know, man.
Well, I think that like the thing is that you had a very laissez-faire, like hands-off sort of just understanding that the organic nature of how Pepe made his way to become a meme. You were just like, yeah, man, whatever. It's a meme. Whatever people want to do, that's fine. I don't care. But then it got totally absorbed into this like super creepy way. And you were like, nah, dude, fuck that. Because it was like, the worst motherfuckers of all time were using your art for this horrible shit. So you're like, no, bro, now I gotta sue Alex Jones. You know, it's like, I feel like that's the thing, is like, if it would have just maintained its sort of the spectrum of like good to bad,
right, you
would have been like fine with it, right? Like you would have just been like, yeah, man, whatever. But it got relegated to like one section of the spectrum of like human like behavior or whatever. Those animation sequences are like better than any animation sequence. Like you know how sometimes you watch like a cartoon on TV and then they'll have like one really cool sequence where you're like, okay, that's where all the budget went. I feel like every single sequence was like a superstar concept sequence. Like the art direction, the whole flow of it, like. I've done a little bit of animation, so when I was first watching it, I was in disbelief at the like just the ideas of like Pepe falling, like how he was falling and everything. I was like, this is
that's Jenna.
The falling stuff, that was Jenna. The yeah, it is amazing. Just about budget. If the animators were here on the call, they would be like, "You didn't spend that much money on the animation."
Oh no,
they all did it. They did it for the love.
Do you guys know how how Pepe actually came to become like the positive symbol in Hong Kong? Like, do you know that? This is a question from my brother-in-law.
Oh, there we go. Right on. Shout out to your brother-in-law,
James. Shout out to James Harris of Sacramento, California.
Well, Pepe became Whoop. The
And Kaya, his son.
Pepe.
His brother?
Hmm?
What'd you say?
All right, go ahead. Chris,
Yeah,
No,
Christy's
Chris,
brother.
jump in. You haven't said anything.
that was my 2 cents. Right. That's all
Oh,
I-
okay. There we go. No, so
Yeah, how
there
did
was
it
a
happen?
woman who was protesting in Hong Kong, and she got shot with a non-lethal round. She got shot in the eye with, like, I guess it was a rubber bullet. And she came to the protest the next day with her eye bandage, and she had made a poster of Pepe, and
With his eye.
with his eye covered with a bandage
Oh,
over his
right.
eye. And that image with the photo was taken of it. It got put in newspapers all over the place because people were like, oh, this is a unique mix of things. And then also in China, the government was using facial recognition software to trace people's faces to see who was protesting. So people were wearing masks. And Pepe once again became the symbol for the anonymous person on the street.
Wow.
Question
And it just
two.
kind of took off. But
Oh,
also people, like, there's just an attachment to cartoon characters in Hong Kong too. There were a couple other characters. There's like this cute Shiba Inu dog and this pig that people also used a lot too.
Really, the thing is that Matt is this really incredibly expansive, bizarre, psychedelic, visionary cartoon character making art freak. Like, the thing is that he's not a square. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, like, the idea is that all these people are like, oh, this guy Matt Furie is a square. It's like, no, dude, this guy's a super weirdo. And
Well,
like, they don't know this motherfucker. He's hella weird and dark.
Well,
He's
and
a dark individual.
we knew that the movie had to be irreverent for it to work, you know. Like, I think people
yeah.
thought the movie was going to be like some preachy bullshit, but we kind of knew that it wasn't going to have like it wasn't going to be interesting if we did it that way. But I will say the
yeah, you don't want it to be like Matt's darker and weirder than the fucking incel dude.
Well, that leads us. That's a great segue, Skinner. Segue, Skinner song.
Okay,
Question
all
number
right,
4 from Shawnee Mike. Shawnee Mike asks, "What's the story with the 4chan neat guy? How did you find him, and how did he agree to participate?"
Oh, I can't wait for this. This is
so I initially actually when I first started researching, I'd never been on 4chan before. I'd first heard of 4chan actually probably in like 2006 or something, because my pal Woody had made like $800 selling psychotropic loops on 4chan. He'd made these videos with just like a spinning vortex and a bunch of ambient music. And he went on 4chan and told people they could get high if they stared at them. And people bought them off of iTunes, and he made $800. And that's the first time I had heard of 4chan before making this film. But that was like kind of 4chan and the more like Occupy Wall Street. I mean, it was still like a very like edgy place. But so first I started emailing people that had trolled Matt, and none of those conversations really worked. And
right.
then I started hanging out in 4chan, and if you just kind of like post on 4chan, people on 4chan want to stay anonymous. That's like the whole thing. But I started to see Mills, who's in Feels Good Man, Mills's face on 4chan on this board called R9K. And then I was like, oh, he's this in-group meme, and people know who he is. He's made himself unanonymous. He's a person, and he had a YouTube presence, and he had this old YouTube video. I mean, old meaning from like 2014, but like he had this YouTube video that maybe only had like 26 hits, and it was only named with the time and the date that it was shot. And I just randomly clicked on that video in the bank of all the videos, and it was the video where he turns on his phone and is staring at it. He says, "What does Pepe mean to me?" And I just had a feeling in that moment that he was going to be in the movie. I don't know. He
was ready. He was ready for his close up, dude.
You know what? Giorgio and I spent a lot of time with Mills, and Mills is a fascinating guy. He's a guy that's absolutely filled with contradictions. He's smart. He's funny. He knows that he's kind of like trapped in a situation. You know, he's someone that I have like a tremendous amount of empathy for, but
yeah,
you know, as a documentarian, you really have to kind of like be open to the people that you meet. You know, it's like you interrogate the systems that people are sort of part of, but you have to be like benevolent to the people that you meet. And so meeting Mills, there's also a part of me that like when like I was a conservative teenager that was filled with anger and self-loathing, and there's a part of me that could see like, oh, if I had maybe just gone on a slightly different path, if I didn't get into art school, if I didn't decide to like move from my small town, I mean, I don't think I would have stayed in the basement, but I could see how I could have but I could see how I could like succumb to negativity.
Yeah.
You know? And so
yeah, I think that's the thing though, is that like the, you know, the stimulation, the environmental stimulation and you know, is always going to be a factor in who we become and what we become. It's like a lot of times people just have to leave the small shitty town or leave the basement or leave the whatever. But the internet kind of does this weird thing where it keeps you feeling like it you know, like I think that it keeps you in a place where you don't have to go searching for it, and like you don't find yourself, you know, there's no Catcher in the Rye in 2020, you know what I mean? It's just people who are like, I feel super miserable and shitty, and then you get your dopamine hits from other people who are like, I feel super isolated and shitty, and you suck too, we suck together.
Skinner, that's exactly the way, if Mills was here talking to us right now, which if he did, like, we'd be having an okay conversation, like he would say the exact same thing. He would say like, oh, I got to go on to Twitter and make a tweet to get my dopamine hit, because that really was something that he looked forward to, because he's not someone that probably has a lot of IRL relationships or friends.
Yeah.
And, you know, and
it's easier just to do that than to be a real person. I can't tell you how many people that I've seen online that look like the most interesting people of all time, and their life's all crazy and they seem all intriguing, and then you meet them in real life and they can't even hold a conversation.
Okay, Andrew M.
Georgia
asks, this is my third Negroni. Andrew M. asks, what is everyone's favorite Boys Club character other than Pepe?
Oh, there we go.
Land Wolf.
It is shocking that Land Wolf didn't become... Yeah, Land Wolf is the breakout star of Boys Club. I think we can all agree.
Well, Land Wolf was the guy who was supposed to be the star. Pepe was the like not, you know, like, well, I guess this is a little bit like, remember that show Growing Pains? Leonardo DiCaprio was like the Pepe of Growing Pains, and then and then everybody else got forgotten. And then
is Boner on Growing Pains? Who's the Boner of?
No, dude, Boner.
Oh wait, like George Costanza.
No, there's a character named Boner.
Yeah, it was.
That's the neighbor. That's the neighbor. Listen, dude, I'm not done. Hold on. But then remember Kirk Cameron? He was supposed to be. That was Land Wolf. He was supposed to be the breakout star, but then he just went and made insane Christian movies. And then Leonardo DiCaprio became the star, and that's Pepe.
Chris,
right?
Leo.
I've solved it.
There we go. Let's sell the rights to Feels Good Man and have Leonardo DiCaprio play Pepe.
Leonardo.
It could just be Leonardo DiCaprio, like just sitting courtside at Lakers games in a Pepe.
Leonardo DiCaprio in Pepe.
As an Italian, offended.
I would like to think that I'm Land Wolf, but I'm probably more of an Andy.
Chris,
yeah.
I mean, Land Wolf is my favorite, and I love Chris, so I'm curious what Chris thinks about Land Wolf.
Yeah, I agree with Skinner. He's the star. It's like Land Wolf is like the Seinfeld, and Pepe is like the George Costanza, but somehow Pepe got famous.
I don't know which dude, whoever the one was that froze his shit and put it in the freezer is the one
Brett.
I like. Yeah,
Andy?
Brett. I'll be a Brett. That's
Brett.
fine.
Oh, no.
Okay, on that note, next question.
I know it was Land Wolf was the one who took the shit.
Oh,
Right.
Well, who froze the shit?
So it was a group effort.
Yeah, I think
Brett.
I think it was a group effort. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Finally, a question
was
from a
based on
lady.
true story, right?
Question number 7 from
What?
Rachel.
Don't you
Rachel
want to hear the
asks,
story about the shit?
oh yeah, okay,
Sure.
let's talk about the shit.
Yeah, tell him that.
Well, my friend Alan Muchinister told me a story where it was either him or his brother called him into the bathroom to show him like the most wicked, hugest shit he's ever taken.
Hold
in his
on one
life.
second. I'm going
And,
through the comic.
It was so big that it demanded attention, and it was so big that they wanted to keep it. They wanted to save it forever.
That's so weird.
I think he described like having to put a piece of paper into the toilet and to actually fish it out, roll it up into some paper, and then they put it into the freezer.
There it is. What
is this?
They put it into the freezer so that.
So there's Pepe almost vomiting from the smell of the shit.
I mean, no one wants to look at a shit, but a shit that big commands respect.
Yeah. From Rachel, she asks, how is Matt so chill? He's like the epitome of chill, smiley face.
He is.
Lessons for the audience, Matt, about your cool and calm demeanor. Any wisdom during these dark times?
Oh God.
Well,
here we go.
Actually, okay. So
here we go.
Hear me out.
Hear me out.
I'll be right back.
Hear me out. So I've been reading a lot of Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a notable. He's a Buddhist monk, and he's written a lot of books about mindfulness. And he was actually recommended to win the Nobel Peace Prize during the Vietnam War, and it was not awarded to him because it was too controversial, because he took a stand of peace. He's a Vietnamese monk. So what he says is that, so if you're on a ship and you're stuck out at sea and you don't have a lot of hope, if you're freaking out on that ship, it's not going to help the situation. But if there's even just one person on the ship that has a calm demeanor, it will help everybody else on that ship. So I think that just
like Popeye.
Yeah. So just by
Popeye.
by being calm and peaceful, I think it actually helps everybody in the situation, because everybody reacts to an emergency or a dire situation in a different way. And so I think it's important, and I'm not saying that I'm this type of person, but I'm saying that there are helpers.
Man, what the fuck you talking
Shut
about?
up, Skinner. Let the man talk.
People,
I'm into this.
And there are people that will just remain calm. And I think that calmness will help others to be calm. So that's my own kind of, my goal is to try to be as calm as possible, because there's a lot of unrest. Yeah.
You ever been fucking isolated with Matt though for like 5 minutes? You ever? This motherfucker talk about he's calm and shit.
He said
I'm just kidding. But listen, here's the thing. This is the thing about Matt that I've always loved, is that he has a very willful heart to strive for like a spiritual understanding of the moment. And so sometimes, like, even with the shit that's going on with him, I know that he's struggling with it at any given day. You know, I talk to him. Sometimes it's not that bad. Sometimes it's kind of hard or whatever. But it's that he's not trying to waste time or spend time marinating in it, like stirring the stick in the shit. You know what I mean? He's just like, you know, things are hard for other people. Things are hard for everybody. And so I'm just trying to be in the moment. And that's honestly, in this moment now, the pandemic, the psycho president, also the choice of having like the political situation as a whole. Like there are so here in California, the fires, there are so many physical, material, and existential threats that everybody's experiencing the kind of anxiety and destructive feelings that Matt has been experiencing with this Pepe shit, but on like a different level. You know what I mean? And so it's not aimed at them personally. It's just this sort of like ever broiling fucking anxiety. And the thing that Matt has developed and that he does, and getting into spirituality, Buddhism, and just being present, is really literally the only thing that will get you through this shit as well.
And
That's a good segue to the next question, which is,
Oh,
Skinner, how
sorry.
did you and Matt become friends? It seems that artists flock to each other, and I love seeing that these connections between artists I already like. Oh, interesting. So they didn't know, this person already independently liked both of you guys as artists, but didn't understand that you were friends.
Oh, well, Matt was in San Francisco. He was a extraordinarily inspirational individual to me. Specifically, I was like really, really drawn to Matt because I felt like everything about his sensibilities, his graphic style, his imagination, his freeness, his kind of like the joy and weirdness and humor and experimentation of what he was doing. I felt like it was very like it made and that it was loved by like websites and galleries and stuff. I was like, oh, maybe there's a chance I'll be okay too. Like it made me feel like there was a place of belonging in some sort of way, but it also very strongly gave me permission to just be into the weird shit that I wanted to be into, because the art world is a very daunting place to try to exist if you're not sort of sanctioned by the gatekeepers or liked, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So Matt was really like, yeah, man, I do weird shit. I'm a weird guy. I like all this stuff. And so I felt like, oh, I got to know this person. I have to meet this guy, you know? And then I just reached out to him and he was really sweet. And I was a very, I think, anxiety ridden person at that time too, because I was like, I want to make art for a living or something. And Matt was just really like, hey, what's up, man? Let's go drink a 40 up on the hill and hang out. Like, well, let's talk and stuff. And I felt very at ease in a time with him at a time where I did not feel at ease at all. So it was a gift. And then I've just been over the years kind of becoming more and more friends with him. But I have a deep, deep respect for Matt and just how he sees the world, the way that the things that he's had to endure, the relationship to his creativity, the struggle to maintain the healthiness of that, you know, I love him a lot.
They're not, I mean, it's just a situation we're in.
So insane to me though, is that like out of this whole thing, like Matt is easily like of every single person interviewed, like in the whole movie, in the whole political thing, Matt is the coolest one. Like he's just all like, yeah, man, I don't know, I just do like mushrooms and go hang out with my frogs and like go like hang and take care of my family and make art and all this stuff. Like I always think it's so weird, like the trippiness of the, you know, the people that live in their basements of their homes and like all this stuff. Like Matt's the one who's created a life for himself that's creativity, it's love, it's chill in this Babylonian nightmare world. You know what I mean?